Your birthday came, and you spent it like a normal day. Strange, right? You didn't tell anyone. You didn't celebrate the new year of your life. No announcement, no countdown. Just an ordinary day you passed through quietly. And the strangest part, you didn't even care. You shared nothing. You reminded no one. When someone remembered and said happy birthday, you smiled, said thank you, and changed the subject. You are not bitter at anyone for this. You don't feel sad. You just don't feel that excitement other people seem to feel. The need to be celebrated, to be seen, to have the day mean something. You are not looking for approval. And honestly, something almost relieves you, because it passes without any fuss. But beneath that relief, there is a quieter truth. A question you probably never said out loud. Why doesn't it matter to me the way it seems to matter to everyone else? Because here's what no one has taught you. The answer to that question says more about your inner world than almost anything else. Think back, not necessarily to just one birthday, but to the feeling that grew across many of them. Maybe there was a celebration, cake, people, the song, and you were there, smiling, present, while something inside you stood just slightly apart from all of it. Or maybe a day came and no one remembered. Instead of feeling hard, you went quiet. You set it aside. You told yourself it was fine, and you were surprised to find that it actually was fine. That feeling of moving through a birthday without needing to celebrate it. Your nervous system had discovered something. You didn't need this to feel okay. No approval required. And every year after that, the lesson deepened. Not through pain, through repetition. Until one day, you weren't even testing yourself anymore. The day had no weight. And you stopped wondering why. But the why matters. Because this isn't indifference. It never was. It was something your mind built to protect something far more important. Psychologist John Bowlby called this attachment adaptation. Simply put, your nervous system learned early on which emotional needs were safe to have met and which ones weren't worth the risk of waiting. When a need goes unmet enough times, the mind doesn't keep reaching for it. It quietly reorganizes. It decides, I'll be okay without this. Not as a defeat, as a survival strategy. And you apply this to yourself, to your own day. You reduce your need for the people around you. This isn't coldness. This is one of the most complex things a nervous system can do. But here's where it goes deeper. Psychologist Tara Brach describes a pattern she calls the trance of unworthiness, a quiet background belief that you aren't someone who deserves to take up space. Not dramatically, subtly, almost invisibly. It doesn't feel like low self-esteem. It feels like humility, like not being that person who makes things complicated, like being love maintains easy, good. But beneath that ease, beneath the not caring, there is sometimes a person who learned very early that their needs were an inconvenience. So they made themselves smaller, quietly, gracefully, without even realizing they were doing it. And your birthday became the one day of the year when that learned smallness is most visible, because a birthday is, at its core, a permission slip, permission to need, permission to be celebrated, permission to say, today I matter. And if you can't reserve that, if it feels uncomfortable, unnecessary, even a little shameful, the question isn't what's wrong with you. The real question is, what did you teach yourself to do with the feeling of mattering, and what your nervous system has been carrying silently? That answer is closer than you think. Researcher Kristen Neff spent years studying what happens when people consistently She warmed outward while blocking it from coming in. She calls it self-compassion asymmetry, being genuinely warm toward others while holding yourself to a different standard. A standard where needing feels selfish and being celebrated feels like too much. And it changes how you see everything, because the discomfort you feel on your birthday, that deflection, that minimizing, that urge to disappear, it isn't a personality trait. It is a practiced habit, learned so young, so seamlessly, that it stopped feeling like a choice and start feeling like part of who you are. This isn't who you are. This is what you build, and what is built can be seen different. This is where everything shifts. Not indifferent, protected, not humble, trained to sharing, not low maintenance, quietly self-erasing. There is a difference between someone who genuinely doesn't need external validation and someone who learned to live without it. And that difference matters. One is freedom, the other is armor, and armor worn long enough starts to feel like skin. You may have told yourself you are just not someone who needs attention, and maybe that's partly true. Some people do live closer inward, quieter, less dependent on external markers. But here's the honest truth. For many people who feel nothing on their birthdays, it isn't peace. It is a very old, very well practiced act of disappearing. One that began the first time they needed to be seen and weren't. A dismissal of the desire to be loved and feel valued. A state of feeling from their own wants rather than being honest about them. And here's where the complexity lives. Because this pattern kept you functional, it made you reliable, self-sufficient, undemanding. These aren't small things. These are real strengths. But the cost is this. When you spend a long time not needing, you forget what you need and what you want. You lose the signal, not just on your birthday, in relationships, in work, in quiet moments when something feels missing and you can't name it, because you were trying not to name it. This isn't a character flaw. This is the price of a coping strategy that worked too well. You are not broken. You are someone who learned to live on very little and called it enough. You are not cold. You are not difficult. You are not someone who has given up on being loved. Your nervous system learned to protect itself so effectively that even joy starts to feel like vulnerability. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with you. Psychologist Barbara Fredrickson's research, what she calls the broaden and build theory, shows that people who slowly, gently allow positive experiences in, even small ones, begin to rebuild their emotional range over time, not dramatically, quietly. You don't have to transform overnight. You don't have to throw a party or perform a happiness you don't feel. But maybe you can sit with this thought. You were always worth celebrating. You just stop letting that be true. This is for the version of you watching this quietly. The one who spent years making themselves smaller so others could feel comfortable. The one who said it's fine so many times that you forgot what it felt like to say actually, this matters to me. Your birthday isn't just a date. It's the one day of the year the world gives you without permission to exist. And every year you let it pass in silence is a year you handed that permission back. You don't have to want a party, but you are allowed to want something. You always were. If this video found you on a quiet day, even a birthday you spent without a single word, I want you to know that wasn't an accident. Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. If this video gave you something, a like means a lot. Just leave a comment with 3 words. It passed quietly. That's all. No explanation needed. Just those three words, if they're true for you. Some people don't need to speak out loud for their truth to be real. See you next time.